is a dream.
I don't think there's anything that runs nicer than the Oldsmobiles do.
Hi, I'm Dennis Gage. Well, this week we're in the very northwestern corner of Illinois in scenic Joe Daviess County, where I was born and raised, to visit Joe Spagnoli and check out a couple of his ultra-rare Oldsmobile Indy pace cars, the 74 and the 77. Now, as the 70s waned, body sizes were still getting bigger, but performance was going the other direction big time. But that wasn't the case for these babies because they were custom built by the factory to be particularly beefy for their role as pace cars. But what I really like about these cars are the other custom factory mods that were done on these very units so they could be used for the parade lap of the winner of the Indy 500. Let me shed some light on what I'm talking about here. Well, Joe, how you doing, man?
I'm great.
Beautiful day down on the farm here.
Yeah, another great day in Galena.
Another great day. Boy, it is pretty out here. I do love it. It's coming home for me. Well, you got some wild cars here. But this 77 Olds pace car is arguably one of the funkiest cars you have. These pace cars are kind of curious things. I mean, they were factory customs, but a lot of times they were really slapped together just before the race.
Yeah, they had a little bit more time to build this car. From the cowl tag that's on the car, they started construction of it probably a year before the race.
I mean, that's almost unheard of. I mean, that's a lot of time.
Yeah, they really did a good job refining this car.
And this is the one that took the parade lap, right?
Absolutely. We can prove that this is pace car number 1 because pace car number 2 is owned by the Indy Museum.
And there are only
two.
Well, that would sort of narrow it down, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
When you talk about your father's Oldsmobile, this is kind of what you were talking about in body style and everything.
Absolutely.
But they really did something here in changing that whole look and feel with what they did in the roof. What all happened here?
You take off that removable roof, it includes the back quarter sections of the windows, and it really obviously changes the whole look of the car. Makes it really pretty neat. Removable rear window. Somebody could sit up on the deck back there, rest their arms up on this spoiler to take their victory lap. It's actually a pretty great looking design with the roof off.
With the roof off, it is pretty good. I really kind of like it. And even with this one, with the roof on, because it had that glass roof, you know, it made it kind of cool. And you could buy, in 77, you could buy a replica pace car.
Absolutely.
But it didn't have any, I mean, it was solid roof, solid hard top.
Back to only 2.
Back to only 2. Very 70s velour interior here too, Joe.
Combination of deluxe cloth / velour.
Interesting steering wheel. Actually, it almost looks like a modern day aftermarket.
Well, actually they made 2 of those as well. They were only put on the 2 actual pace cars.
So that came with this. That's the real deal.
Absolutely.
Wow. The lines on these by 77 were just so square. I mean, these things are like big rectangles.
They were, but I think they did a great job with the 2-tone color combination and following those body lines to make the car look nice.
Yeah, they really did. I mean, this thing now, and these, like I say, this was not the most attractive car GM ever built, but dressed up this way, this is a pretty slick looking machine.
Yeah, I think so.
Now, pace cars and the real pace cars don't have VINs, is that right?
Yeah, they weren't supposed to get into the hands of the general public.
So with a car like this without a VIN, you don't have a title.
We're gonna have to take a little risk if you want to take it for a test drive.
Well, wouldn't be the first time. All right. Well, so in 77 we would also had some, you know, really detuned little V8 in there. What do we have under the hood?
Well, this one's pretty unique. It's got hand-built 403 from the factory with a lot of custom modifications to be able to get it to get up to those high speeds to handle the track at Indy.
Wow, a lot of chrome too.
Yeah, this was all built especially for the car. You know, notice the valve covers with the dual chrome breathers on each side too help the motor breathe a lot better. It has an aluminum intake manifold that was exclusive to the W31 in 1970. So they did whatever they can to bring some of the old technology and performance into the 1977 year.
So how does she, I mean, she runs, right?
She runs great, actually. It's not the fastest thing off the line, but when it gets up to speed, it really runs smooth. And it was built for those higher speeds at Indy.
Yeah, and it's a kind of these were big Luxo cruisers anyway. Beautiful day. What do you say we take it out and give it a little exercise?
If you're ready to take a risk, so am I.
Let's take a risk.
Alrighty.
Sounds nice.
Doesn't sound like your father's Oldsmobile.
It does not sound like your father's Oldsmobile. It's pretty countryside.
Nothing better than when the hay's fresh cut. That smell will get you.
Boy, you can feel it. I mean, this is a big, solid car.
Yeah. It's for cutting the roof off it. I'm really kind of surprised the car doesn't rattle more than it really does.
She rides like an Oldsmobile.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, and it handles the steering gearbox is much tighter than your father's Delta 88. It obviously responds a lot faster than what one of the original cars would have performed like.
With no lean either. It corners very flat.
Yeah, it's like I said, the suspension's all been stiffened up to be able to handle those turns at, I don't think they ever hit the 200 mile an hour mark at Indy, but
I'm just not used to looking down and seeing 200 miles an hour, Joe. I don't know. The paint on it's still amazing.
It's hard for me to believe that the car was never redone. I mean, it's that nice. And,
it is. It
they
really
weren't
is.
really known for great paint jobs in the late 70s and early 80s.
It didn't always stick so well, you know? There's a 57 coming by. 4-door hardtop. Gotta love it. What a day. And cruising like this is awesome.
Couldn't get any luckier with the weather. It's absolutely perfect.
Country roads in Joe Davies County. That's quite a cruiser. You know, and that 77 gets some looks.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right,
it draws some attention.
It does, not fast off line, but it'll get up and go. But something that's going to draw some looks is this 74, Joe. This is a really wild machine. And this, too, is one of the two official pace cars built, right?
Absolutely. We can prove that this was actually the car that Johnny Rutherford took his victory lap on. There's some unique features to the car. One pace car sported Firestone tires, the other one sported Goodyear tires. This was the Firestone car. There's still remnants of the original Firestone sticker on the front fender, as well as these seat clips for the seat belts on the headrests of the seats. The other car did not have those. That was one of the ways we were able to prove that this is the actual car that Rutherford took his victory lap in.
Wow. Well, you know, this was a very different body style than the 77. Again, something that had really grown pretty big, but one of the things I always found unique about this is the curves and the body lines, contours they put into these cars, and then had to match them up with the doors. I mean, there's that scallop up from the back, this crease right here in the front fender. Those things come together and meet with the door. Yeah, and that's a lot of work.
It was actually a pretty good design for back down those compound curves.
But it's a really distinctive body style.
They did a great job turning this into a convertible. You know, you see the way the trim wraps around the rear of the car. I think it really flows with the rest of the car really
It had to be a ton of work.
Oh, I couldn't even imagine where they started with the drawing and the conceptual design of the car.
And what a weird, almost patent leather looking, slick vinyl.
Yeah, that is kind of shiny for the day and age, but I think it kind of fits for 1973. You know, it's nice and easy to keep clean, that's for sure.
Yeah. And what other custom touches did they do in here?
Well, obviously the Hearst dual gauge shifter. That's what the Hearst Oldsmobile is really known for. And you know, that iconic name is the 72 Hearst Oldsmobile was the first non-OEM car to actually pace the Indy 500, as well as this one being the second.
Wow. The speedometer only goes to 110, man.
Yeah, this one, you could bury the speedometer really fast, but it's got a lot more get up and go than the 77 does. It comes off the line really well and definitely can handle the speedway.
And what's the reason for that?
You want to take a look under the hood?
Let's take a look.
A lot of custom features, and again, back to another hand-built motor that Oldsmobile specifically designed for the pace car.
Wow.
Here we are with a lot more chrome again. Definitely something unique. You notice the aluminum intake? They brought that from a 70 442 W30, again to try and get some more performance into the motor so they could transfer it to the tires.
So this is a 455, right?
This is a 455, hence the W30.
That is a strong, beefy engine.
Absolutely, it's got a lot of performance. When I was cleaning it up, we had taken the intake manifold off just to kind of clean everything and get the valve covers real clean, make sure all the gaskets were fresh. And I had another W30 aluminum intake that was already blasted on the shelf, and we went to put it on the car just figuring, it's easier than cleaning up another one. Well, it won't fit because this one was machined for these heads and this car only. I learned that after trying to get it pushed on there, but it does not fit. This is the only one that'll go on there. It's the only one like that.
Wow.
If you look on the VIN pad of this car, where the serial number would normally be, the VIN pad shows EX space 1001. Another reason why we think it's pace car number 1, or at least the first one built. I haven't had the opportunity to look at the second car to see if it says 1002, but those markings are not only on the VIN pad of the car, but it's also on the transmission of this vehicle.
But still, just like the 77, no official VIN number.
No official VIN number. They'll take your money for the insurance, but can't get a license plate for it.
Funny how that works. Well, I feel like we got lucky on the 77. We'll probably get lucky on this. What do you say we take this one up to?
Hey, let's give it a chance.
All right, man, let's do it.
Dennis, let me show you the easy way of getting in this car.
Oh, that's nice. That's very nice.
Have a seat.
Oh, yes, and then swivel around. Love it. Off we go. Well, that sounds a little stronger. A little bit.
You'll be surprised, this one.
I'm surprised how quiet she is.
But this one, I mean, it's got the power when you get on it.
I like the feel of this, because it still absolutely floats along, so smooth, but you can feel the power of it under that hood.
Back to the reason why I like Oldsmobiles.
The best of both worlds.
They are really, really fun to drive.
Yowza!
It certainly is nice being able to shift one that's an automatic, and if you do want to use the dual gauge shifter, just pop that gate open. Throw it down in the first and shift it manually, even though it's an automatic. You're not pushing that clutch in, but I don't care how good we are, Dennis. I don't think any of us is going to get any faster than an automatic transmission.
You know, I used to believe
the opposite.
Exactly, but it's just not true. It is just not true. What a wild looking machine. Just a regular rally wheel?
Yep.
Got a good feel to it.
Yeah, they are comfortable.
You know, and this is kind of a transitional wheel, because nowadays, you know, they're so fat. When you drive a car now, the wheel's so fat.
Right.
And they used to be so thin.
Right.
But this is right in between there. This is
right in the middle.
It's kind of a nice size.
Yeah.
It's a cool gauge setup. Yeah. I like the one pod with the temp, oil, and fuel in it. This console does look a lot like the one in the 77.
It is. It's identical. It's either from a 73 or 74. They just, instead of cutting this plate open, they just left the cover blank and screwed it in these three places.
Oh, yeah.
In the 77.
I love the open feeling of this car, though. This is just perfect.
Especially for being in a car with black interior in August.
It could get kind of toasty.
We could be dripping.
You know, I honestly, in my life, I haven't driven that many Oldsmobiles, but I need to drive more of them. This is a dream.
Well,
This baby floats.
we got a whole garage full if you want to take any more of them out. Anytime, your
You do
invitation's always open.
You do have a few of them. So until our next meeting, remember, honor the timeless classics. I'm Dennis Gage. Happy motoring.